Pat Swilling has better numbers than a number of guys in the Hall of Fame. And today, he's naming names. Next. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Life of a Saint. I am John Butler, here to give you 3 clips from a Saints legend. No shortage of legend status here as we're talking to the great Pat Swilling. Pat Swilling, in his first clip, he talks about who it was that he saw play that ultimately got him to put on the pads himself and try it out.
That's funny you asked that. I'll be honest with you. My mother wasn't crazy about us playing at an early age, so it was Thanksgiving, and I think I was about 12 years old. And I'll never forget this. I was sitting with some family, and we were watching the Dallas Cowboys play somebody on television, and they were talking about Too Tall Jones. Mm-hmm. And he came around the corner, and he made a sack. And they were talking about all the sacks that he had and how good of a pass rusher he was. And it was kind of funny. I said to myself, man, they're raving about this guy, and all he does is come around the corner. All he does is come around the corner, and he hits quarterbacks. And I said to myself, man, I could do that. And honestly, that's when I really started to get a love to play football. I'd never played football. Oh, wow. I always played baseball and basketball. And my high school coach came over and talked to my mother and asked me would he let me come play football. I was a big boy. I was, as a freshman, I was 6'3", 6'4", about, 195, 200 pounds. And that's when I started playing. And I just thought that I could beat Too Tall Jones. And, as a young kid, I didn't really realize, what I'd said, but that's just what I had in my mind. And that's when I started having a love for football.
So if you're anything like me, you're wondering, what were the sack totals for those two gentlemen? Well, Ed Too Tall Jones finished his career with 106 sacks. Pat Swilling finished with 107.5. So it was as easy as it looked for Pat Swilling when he saw Too Tall Jones play that Thanksgiving Day. Our second clip, we talked to Pat about how when he arrived to New Orleans, in a city that really hadn't seen a lot of success on the NFL football field, how he had an immediate impact, not only him, but his teammates and his coaching staff, in turning that franchise around and finding some winning football in New Orleans.
Well, I think we were fortunate to have Jim Moore because, in New Orleans, Jim Moore brought a discipline that was needed in New Orleans. It was needed. And I can't speak to what went on before then, but I can tell you that first year, I think he cut 20-something players.
Wow.
He made everyone. If anyone thought that there was going to be anything other than walking or towing the line, there wasn't going to be anything. He cut guys left and right, and it was needed. It was needed. And I came from Bill Curry. Bill Curry came from Green Bay, which in Green Bay with his background, with everything that goes on in Green Bay, that you would know that he's a disciplinarian. So his disciplinary side was good for me, but I was used to that, so it didn't bother me any.
Gotcha.
Be on time, do your job, know your assignment, go about your business. Jim Moore was the first part of that key. The second part of it was midway during camp, about the third week, the USFL folded. We look up, and 2 guys get off the bus, Sam Mills and Vaughn Johnson.
Not bad.
No one would ever, and not only Sam Mills and Vaughn Johnson, also Gibson, the safety. I can't think of his first name right now. But Sam Mills and Vaughn Johnson would be the 2 guys that you would always remember, but they get off the bus. And with those guys, no one would ever understand how much they would mean to our whole team's success. But Sam and Vaughn, during that time, were 2 of the guys that came in with me. I was 21. They were older, but I was the youngest guy. But the whole point is those 2 guys, they made a difference.
As always, if you're enjoying the content, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, maybe subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have the whole Who Dat Nation along for the ride as we continue to explore some of these legends. In any event, the next question, we talked to Pat Swilling. We got into what it was like playing on the Dome Patrol, some of the guys that he knows are in the Hall of Fame that he's got better numbers than, straight up. And then also how he feels the Pro Football Hall of Fame has slighted not only him, but his fellow members of the Dome Patrol.
Well, you're not biased, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. You would never, ever in the National Football League put 4 guys of that stature on the team. Even today, you couldn't afford us today. Mm-hmm. You just couldn't. You couldn't. If we played today, you couldn't afford us. It would never happen. Sam and Vaughn and hell, Ricky was already Ricky Jackson. We just kind of added to what Ricky Jackson already built, and just to play with those 4 guys, man. And you look back on history and what we did, and I keep saying this all the time, and I'm going to say this because it's a travesty, and I got to say this, and I hope you print what I have to say. Whoever that's in the Hall of Fame that hadn't put us in the Hall of Fame based on our numbers, based on my numbers, based on Sam Mills' numbers, based on Vaughn Johnson's contributions and numbers, we don't understand it. There's 6 guys in that damn Hall of Fame right now, and outside linebackers that don't have my numbers, and I don't understand. I have never been nominated.
That's crazy to even
never been nominated. How is that possible? Yeah. How in the hell is that possible?
No,
And I hope you write everything that I say about this because it's a damn travesty. It makes no sense. I've never been in jail. I've been a state official down here in Louisiana. I've carried myself the way an NFL player should carry himself, and I have never, ever been nominated. You got Charles Haley, doesn't have my numbers. Yeah, he has rings. You got Andre Tippett, and you got four or five other guys that don't have my numbers that are in the Hall of Fame. So, hell, whether you want me to pull my chain or not, I'm going to pull my chain because I want you to write it because
absolutely.
Me and my family are sticking to it because it makes no sense.
Right.
It makes no sense. Sam Mills is one of the best inside linebackers to ever play the game, and he's been nominated, but he's not in the Hall. There's no reason for that.
Absolutely, all 3 of those guys belong in the Pro Football Hall of Fame along with Ricky Jackson. In any event, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you'll share this with somebody that you know likes Pat Swilling and would enjoy the content. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya!